What makes a man a man? One major thing is sacrifice. I'm not talking you have to sacrifice your life and then no longer exist. I'm talking make your life a sacrifice. Be uncomfortable. Do those things that you don't want to do, that nobody wants to do. That's our job. I'll give you a little illustration, not to toot my own horn, just to show what I'm talking about. At church, we used to meet in a middle school. When you meet in a middle school, you set everything up on a Sunday morning and you tear everything down after service. Nobody wanted to be over set up and tear down. Not a single person. We had some people who started it, they were in it for a while, and then they left for various reasons. I went up to the pastor and I said, if you can find no one else, I will do it. Nobody was volunteering. And I did that for like 5 years, I think. Made for very long Sundays. So I would get in there 7:30 and then we'd be done about 12:30. We would unload everything from an overloaded trailer into the school, set it up. We had multiple teams. So I was on all the kids' side. There was a tech team that set up everything in the sanctuary. Through that process, I learned a lot. When I started, it was a very small team. More people joined and started setting up the lobby, so I didn't have to do it. And then all I had to do was set up all the kids' area. But every snowy day, I had to drive up there and I had to see if we could have church. We had to plan for it. If it was supposed to snow Sunday morning, but then get nice, then we would go ahead and drive up Saturday night and unload everything and potentially set up. Did that for years. Again, not tooting my own horn. I'm glad those days are over. But without those days, having church would have been a lot more difficult. As men, that's what we're supposed to do. That team was made up of only men. There was a couple women that would join for a little bit and then they were gone. It's not their cup of tea. Nothing wrong with it. As men, we're stronger. We're made to work harder. That's our job. That's how we're created. It was uncomfortable. It was unenjoyable. I got to where I hated it. But it didn't matter how I felt because God was moving in our church. Our church was growing by leaps and bounds. I was willing to sacrifice my selfish time for someone else. Much in the same way, as a father, I'm willing to sacrifice things that I would like, that I would want to do, that I would like to buy. I'm willing to sacrifice those for my children and my wife. If there's ever a month that we look and we're like, man, we either pay the bills or we buy this thing. Well, that's an easy choice. We pay the bills. Or if there's ever a month that my kids start a sport and we have to go buy everything for that sport. Well, whatever I wanted to do here in the garage or whatever, that gets sacrificed. That's our job as men. We sacrifice. Now, before you think that I'm saying you never get anything, that is not the case. I've gotten plenty, even through sacrifice. I've gotten plenty. My wife makes sure that I'm very well taken care of. When it's Christmas time or my birthday or whatever, my wife makes sure that my sacrifice gets rewarded. You know, we both sacrifice. That's just what we do. She sacrifices things that she wants so that I can get something that I want, or our kids can get something that they want. It's an equal sacrifice. But as a man, if there's a sacrifice that needs to be made, we need to be able to be strong enough to make that. That's just our job. I've got a couple Bible verses to share with you guys. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16. This is the New Living Translation. I like this one because it's plain English and I can understand it. I'm a simple guy. This makes it simple. And don't forget to do good and to share with those in need. These are the sacrifices that please God. As you see, even God says that we need a sacrifice. Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interest, but take an interest in others too. I've got another one from Philippians chapter 2, verse 14 this time. Do everything without complaining and arguing. This gets me big time. This gets me like square in the chest because I complain about a lot of stuff. You can ask my wife. My wife's like, just do it. Just shut up and do it. Like, you're going to do it anyway. I know you are. Why complain about it? I don't know. It makes me feel better. It doesn't make me feel better. It makes me feel worse when I complain. But something in me wants to complain, wants to let others know how I really feel about it. I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings while I'm complaining. So I just need to shut up and do it. Got one more verse for you. Matthew chapter 19, verse 24. I'll say it again. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. That one sounds weird, right? A camel going through the eye of a needle. It's actually a place over in Jerusalem. It's a very small entrance, and you have to unload your entire camel so you can go in. You have to remember, when the Bible was written, they didn't have trucks. They had camels. So they would load all their possessions on these camels for this trip, whatever they needed for the trip. So a rich person would carry way more than they really needed because they liked the life of opulence. They liked all the finer things. People haven't changed in thousands of years. Rich person back then, rich person now, they both like to be comfortable. What this verse is saying is, for that person to enter through this narrow gate, it's short, it's narrow, they would have to unload the entire camel and bring things from the outside inside. For a rich person to go through the eye of the needle, it's a huge process. And it's easier for them to do that than it is for some people to let go of the things that they've got and the ideas and the thoughts and all of that they have and just trust God. That's what this verse is saying. If that verse hits you today and something I've said makes you want to enter into God's kingdom, it's very simple. Very simple. There's no magic to it. There's nothing to it. You just stop, sit down, kneel, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Shut your eyes, bow your head in reverence, because remember, God is a holy God. He's the creator of everything. Just say, Lord, I am a sinner. Forgive me of my sins. Enter my life. Wash away everything impure, everything unclean, and let me live for you, Lord. It's that simple. And then you can enter into God's kingdom. If you're not ready, that's okay too. I've got several more of these What It Takes to Be a Man videos, so watch out for new ones. If this is the first video of mine, this is not all that I do. I work in my garage, I show how to do stuff, and I just show me finding the hardest way to do seemingly everything. So, if you want to join, follow along. Y'all have a good one.